Imagine dedicating your life to your country, pledging to defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You believe in the oath you took, in the values of freedom and democracy. You trust your superiors, the leaders who guide you and make decisions for the greater good. Now imagine that trust shattered, broken by the very people you swore to protect. This is the story of countless enlisted soldiers, men and women, who volunteered to serve their country, only to become unwitting subjects in secret experiments conducted by the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA. Their stories are a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of accountability, even in the name of national security. These soldiers, many barely old enough to vote, were lured into a world hidden from public view, a world where the lines between right and wrong blurred. They were subjected to experiments that pushed the boundaries of human endurance, both physical and mental. Some were exposed to dangerous chemicals and drugs, unaware of the long-term consequences for their health. Others were subjected to psychological torture, their minds manipulated in ways they could barely comprehend. The betrayal of trust these soldiers experienced is almost unimaginable. They were robbed of their agency, their right to informed consent violated in the most fundamental way. Their stories are a stark reminder that even in a democracy, even in the land of the free, the powerful can exploit the vulnerable, and the truth can remain buried for decades. To understand how such a betrayal could occur, we must step back in time to the aftermath of World War II. The world was still reeling from the horrors of the conflict, haunted by the specter of Nazism and the atrocities committed in the name of scientific progress. Yet, even as the world grappled with the sins of the past, a new conflict was brewing: the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union, once allies against a common enemy, now found themselves locked in an ideological struggle that gripped the globe. Both superpowers sought to gain an advantage over the other, pouring resources into military research and development. It was in this climate of fear and paranoia that the CIA launched a series of clandestine programs, collectively known as MK-Ultra. MK-Ultra was a sprawling operation, encompassing over 150 individual projects that explored the potential of mind control and chemical interrogation. The CIA's goal was clear: to develop techniques that could be used to extract information from enemy agents and to create sleeper agents who could be activated on command. In their pursuit of these goals, the CIA crossed ethical lines, justifying their actions in the name of national security. Enlisted soldiers, particularly those stationed on military bases across the country, became prime targets for the CIA's clandestine experiments. These young men and women, often from working-class backgrounds, represented an easily accessible and readily controllable population. Their inherent loyalty to their country and their ingrained obedience to authority made them ideal subjects for experiments that demanded secrecy and compliance. The military's hierarchical structure, with its emphasis on following orders without question, further enhanced the soldiers' vulnerability. They were conditioned to trust their superiors, to believe that their orders, no matter how unusual or unsettling, served a greater purpose. This ingrained obedience made it difficult for soldiers to question the nature of the experiments or to refuse to participate, even when they felt uneasy or uncomfortable. Moreover, many soldiers were young and inexperienced, eager to prove themselves and to earn the respect of their peers. They were often motivated by a sense of patriotism, a desire to serve their country and to contribute to the fight against communism. The CIA exploited these sentiments, appealing to the soldiers' sense of duty and their willingness to make sacrifices for the greater good. The experiments conducted on enlisted soldiers varied widely in nature and scope, but they shared a common thread of secrecy and a disregard for the well-being of the subjects. Some experiments focused on testing the effects of chemical agents, including LSD, on human behavior. Soldiers were given doses of these potent substances, often without their knowledge or consent, and their reactions were carefully observed and documented. Other experiments explored the limits of human endurance, subjecting soldiers to extreme temperatures, sleep deprivation, and sensory overload. These experiments were designed to break down the soldiers' resistance, to push them to the brink of physical and mental collapse. The goal was to identify techniques that could be used to extract information from prisoners of war, or to create more resilient soldiers capable of withstanding interrogation and torture. Psychological manipulation was another hallmark of the CIA's experiments. Soldiers were subjected to hypnosis, electroshock therapy, and various forms of psychological torture in an attempt to alter their behavior and to control their minds. These experiments were often conducted in secret facilities, hidden from public view and shrouded in secrecy.